Hey, what's up guys? Alan here, trying a new setup on my new MacBook M1, and I want to do this recording because a lot of things are very cool about this Mac, but one thing that I think most people need to figure out is, can you stream, record content on the M1? How does it perform? But also just in general, getting you set up. So what I wanted to do is just take this overall 2020 guide, especially on this new Mac, to show you not only the performance, which is being 100% recorded on this Mac, but also just helping you guys get started streaming from maybe your new MacBook or on Mac in general. So what I got going on is I'm going to just go through how I typically go through my flows, showing you how to do it through this guide that I use on Google Sheets. And we're just going to be talking about everything you need. So for the most part, what the setup is the computer is the main part, or the screen that you want to connect. And the best program I found to record content is on OBS, whether you're on Windows or on Mac. Now, this tutorial is going to focus specifically for Mac users, but be sure to head out on the tutorials I have on my YouTube channel to check out the other ones for Windows. And then here, you basically need a camera. So one thing I find that is the benefits of Mac computers is that for the most part, when you are on a Mac, like the FaceTime actually isn't that great. The FaceTime video, even this M1 is on just a 720p camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to showcase the difference in camera. So if I go full screen here, this is the setup I have right now. It's actually, you could set up an iPhone by just literally connecting the iPhone, and then what I'm going to put on top is actually the OBS, the FaceTime camera. So you can kind of see the difference of quality, right? This one's coming directly out of the laptop. This one's coming from a connected iPhone. And the cool part about that is that literally all you have to do for Macs is just connect a USB cable from your Mac into OBS, and it will show. So I'm going to go straight into showcasing, let me go back here, how to kind of do the best setup that I found. Like I said, most webcams, terrible quality. MacOS, Apple in general, I don't know why they haven't upgraded to a better webcam quality. But for the most part, what you could do is set up iPhone. And so let me just bring up an instance of OBS. So let me turn off this display camera and kind of showcase how it's done. So when you go into many of your scenes, I'm going to go into a full tutorial, but I just want to show this webcam tutorial. So the scenes is what you can do to kind of showcase what you want to show on the screen, and they bucket your sources. So one of the things you'll want to do is add a source. Here I have multiple sources selected, and right here, if I choose this first one, this is actually the iPhone. So the thing that you go in and you choose whether you add a new one or not, once you're plugged into the iPhone to your computer, it just shows up. So that's the cool part. I don't know what high is. It's like I'm frozen. But anyways, you could use a FaceTime HD camera, which would be this one. You can see it's kind of not as great quality as compared to my iPhone. And that is literally like the one hack that most people have an advantage of if you use Mac OS, to use the iPhone connection to kind of create that content. So another way that you could do that if you're on Windows, I have a tutorial on this as well, is you could use an NDI camera or something like that. And there's also a lot of different, if you're on an Android, different ways to connect your camera, your phone camera, which have way better quality than your webcam. So if you're in an instance where you need to kind of record better quality and you want to show your face, I would recommend using your camera and looking up settings to have this done. So you could check those out. And so basically the best one I've found is OBS Project. There's another one built on top of it called Streamlabs, but for the most part, I'd recommend OBS Project because it's what I'm doing to create this whole video right here that you're watching. And for those of you wondering, you may be seeing like there's literally zero stutter, zero frame. So these new M1 MacBooks are literally crushing it. And I'm really excited for the amount of mobility that I have, to create content from, either if I go someplace or something like that, different from my typical desktop setup. Very powerful stuff. And I'm always going to have my phone on me, so I can always make content, I guess once travel opens up because of COVID. Probably not too much traveling, but I like the ability or the possibility to rely on a good MacBook to make this content. So the rest of these slides, I'm going to go into more detail in the descriptions below that you can just go down and read how to set up all of OBS. I want to just go straight into kind of like the demo that I had up. So like I mentioned before, scenes are the places where you can choose which one you want to show. So you can see each scene has its own thing. This one's saying display capture. This one has a bunch of stuff. This is a white border I put around my video capture, and stuff like that. So on each thing, you have these ways to view the border or not. That's how you can control how to do stuff. And if you have pictures or anything like that that you want, like if you download borders or stuff like that, you can just directly drag and drop it into the scene. So for the most part, what most people need to do is either create a window capture or a display capture. Now, I typically on macOS recommend using display capture because it gets better frames, and I already have a display captured here, which would be this window. If I go and choose, I'm on a multiple monitor setup, I could choose the other window, and this is literally what I'm recording right now. I could show something else, let's say my calendar, and that's what would be recorded on this screen. You can see it's now a different monitor there. So that's the best recommendation I have for Mac OS. And then for the video capture, like I mentioned, you don't want to use a FaceTime camera. It's not that great quality. I just recommend hooking, if you have the iPhone to iPhone collaboration, this is how you can get a better camera. And the one thing I do want to point out actually is it's actually just a screen recording of the iPhone. I forgot to mention this. One of the apps I recommend getting is Movie Pro, because there's a setting that you could do in the app in which you could turn off the whole display. So once you go into the settings of this app, you turn off hide UI, and you could get the kind of the clean output that I'm showing right now using for this video. So don't forget to get this. I'm going to leave the link in the description of Movie Pro. Getting iPhone, taking advantage of that camera quality. So video capture, use your iPhone, use the Movie Pro app, display capture to get stuff here. And I will say a caveat, so most of the time to get desktop audio, if you're streaming like your video games or something like that, Zoom recordings, you are going to need to install iSHOWU audio, and you could get it just Google searching, and I'll leave a direct link below as well. I will say for M1 laptops right now, they actually have they need to update this because it's not working. I'll keep you posted on comments if you guys are struggling with the new M1 laptops, getting it configured to record audio. That is the one drawback. This has worked before on previous Intel MacBooks, but this one in particular, right now it's not set up to run. But for the most part, this would help you capture your desktop audio, everything you need. So I'm really impressed with this M1. It's recording content. It's only using 24% of the camera or the CPU, GPU. I'm running 144 frames, and I'm getting really smooth while recording, something that definitely even my dedicated graphics card wouldn't be able to handle, or dedicated MacBook wouldn't be able to handle. And for the most part, that's the basic streaming guides that you would need to do to get outputted. The next thing you would have to do is you have to set up what your streaming profile is. So the cool thing about it is most of the time the ones you'll need just show up here. Once you click on, you can just literally choose which one you want to do, and you need to be able to get the API key from whichever server you're using. So I recommend using Restream. It's a way to kind of broadcast to multiple ones. But once you do get stream key, you basically need to log in, and it will show you. Once you do that, you just post that into the streaming key setup here, and then you're fine to go stream to your content. Now, I want to get into now the settings that you'll need to do. So I'm on a M1. For most people, the best recommendation I have is to just go into recording and see what settings work best for your computer. Now, the cool part about this M1 is you can see I'm streaming or recording on 20 recording. Most of the time for people if you have this also depends on your computer and your bandwidth, your internet basically. You need to kind of set what you would do. I would typically recommend doing at least 6,000. Here you can see here I actually forgot to let me kind of just show you the whole setup. So literally this is what I'm recording on my iPhone, and it's actually just an iPhone recording, so you can see here all the stuff there. I'm just recording from my setup right there, and like I said, when I tap to do the UI, it appears there. So that is one drawback. You need to turn on do not disturb. That is something I would do before recording and showcasing these videos. But that is the setting that you'd want to do. Go into here, choose 6,000. I would recommend starting out. And then also, just to make sure you don't lag when you're doing this stuff, I would recommend testing out which settings you want to do. For people just starting out, I would recommend CBR, testing 2500, depending on your Mac, what you could record and the quality. And the higher bitrate you go, the higher the quality of the video. For me, I typically like recordings done in CRF, and in this one, it's actually the opposite. The lower you go, the higher quality and also the higher size of the video. So on the M1s, if you have one right now, you're new to, you just got picked up these new M1s, you could test out M1 20 settings. That's typically fine for 1080p videos on recording and then uploading into YouTube. So yeah, this thing is amazing. Actually, it's really crazy to me. I could bring up Pro, but I want to stay locked in into kind of the purposes of this video, showcasing you how to stream on your new M1 MacBook or MacBooks in general, some of the settings you would need. So yeah, I'll leave this below, some of what you guys would need to kind of get this set up. It has kind of more in-depth detail of how to set up stuff. The whole video, this is on my desktop that I did, even to have multi-camera set up. So that's been my kind of quick video. Whoa, let me remove this double thing. You can kind of see here iPhone way better, this one, than the FaceTime camera. So let me remove that. And yeah, that has been kind of a quick how to stream on Twitch from your MacBook Mac Air. I'm pretty amazed by this performance. Definitely gonna try to make more content on the M1 because I actually prefer editing on Final Cut compared to this computer, or my desktop computer, which uses Resolve. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave links or comments below. Don't forget, if you like this type of content I'll be making, is how to set up getting your digital presence online. We're showcasing you guys how you get set up becoming a content creator, showcasing whatever skill or knowledge you guys want to put out there. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's anything you need more configuration on, and the slideshow will be in the links below.